Everybody, how are you? Good evening. It is 9:03 on September the 5th. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. This is the evening coffee talk where we are getting together. I apologize. Totally missed you a little bit ago. At 3:30 was doing some work here in the Weather Center and totally lost track of time. So anyway, hope that's okay. Hope you're okay. Hope we're all okay. You okay? We okay? I hope so. I hope so. It's a lovely night outside around Central Florida. We are enjoying beautiful weather. Let's take a look outside, see what's doing on our tower cam perspective. There's the tourist district. Look at how pretty that is this evening, right? It's a mix of clouds and stars, comfortable conditions, all the good things happening. Everything good in your neighborhood? I hope so. I hope so. Let's see. Is our temperature script still working? Nope. Why am I fighting so hard tonight? Why? I just don't understand. All right. I just don't understand why. All right. I'll fix it. All right. I'm on here. I'm trying to do the things. My apologies, everybody. I'll get those temperatures updating. Little by little, things are going down, though. It's a lovely evening. Here's a look at the satellite presentation. You can tell I've been dealing with some computer problems today. Can you tell? A couple of clouds over top of us. It was a nice, dry day. That much is certainly continuing. For us this evening, we'll watch conditions continue in that direction. Temperatures are going to drop off into the 70s. I wish I could give you more 60s, but it's just not looking to be the case. Mix of, clouds and sunshine tomorrow, though temperatures are really going to climb. James says that temperature map really doesn't like you. It really doesn't. I don't know what it is. I think what's happening, if I'm honest with you, I think my hard drive on one of my servers is failing. If I'm 100% certain of one thing, it's that thing is out for me. Oh, man. Oh, well. All right, so that's that. Let's look at tomorrow. Forecast tomorrow is going to get a little toasty, just a little bit. Temperatures are definitely climbing, warmer than average. Instead of like 91 like we were at today, take a look. 94 for us tomorrow. It's going to be a hot day. 95 in Leesburg, 87 in Palm Coast. When we compare these temperatures to our record numbers, we're definitely going to be close-ish. We're not expecting full-on records, but we'll be close-ish. 94, not so close to 100 in Orlando. But that Sanford and that Leesburg record, I think we're going to be watching those a little closer. So just something to keep in mind. Not a big deal, but there's that. It's going to get hot. And frankly, it's going to get even hotter just thereafter. Our 7-day forecast, we'll take a look here, showing those temperatures climbing for sure. There you go. 94 degrees for our Wednesday. Thursday, 96 degrees. Woof. Midsummer's heat. You know what's interesting? I was just looking, and this should be a heat wave, because in my notes just prior to Nicole, and for those of you that follow, you know what I'm talking about. But my notes just prior to Nicole were warm temperatures, like hot temperatures, like Halloween-ish of last year. So, yep, there you go. There you go. So we should be entering into a heat stretch for a couple days. And that's exactly what we're doing. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, those rain chances start to rise again. Yeah. Good times. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? Anything before we jump in truck? I've got it in the bottom corner, right? Like I've got the tropics there. So we're going to have to talk about that. But before we do so, does anybody have any questions about anything whatsoever? I'll take your questions before we dive into the tropics. I see 600 people. Hi, everybody. Phil's asking, Ocala, why no temperatures recently? It's like somebody needs to go out there with a hammer and slam it. I have no idea. They're just not reporting data. They're just not reporting any data, so I can't do it. Oh, well. Oh, well. All right, Pat's asking about tropics. Julie's asking, do I ever sleep? I mean, a little bit. Not as much as I'd like. A little bit. Oh, well. All right. Oh, my goodness. Taylor had to get the tiny Giga vault. Oh, boy. All right. Tropics. Tropics. Let's talk about it. There is Tropical Storm Lee. I've been cycling the data in the bottom left corner of your screen, but here's kind of the full update now. Tropical Storm Lee, there's no intermediate advisories because it's not near land, so they don't put those out. But nevertheless, 5 o'clock is the most recent, and that is showing kind of a developing tropical cyclone, firing up some decent convection tonight. Now, one thing that I did notice, its motion, it says moving west-northwest at 16, but let's take a bit of a closer dive, okay? What I'm going to show you is the last 12-hour satellite imagery. And you'll see the line, the historic line for its motion, okay? Give it a second. It's loading this graphic. All right, I'm super zoomed in. Watch the line as the center of circulation and watch the circulation itself. All right, ready? Set, maybe. There we go. Now, I may be crazy, but it's not, it doesn't look like it looks like it's kind of drifting a little to the southwest. maybe it's just me. I don't know. You tell me. The line stops because there's not been an update since 5 o'clock, but like that looks like it's drifting a little southwest, doesn't it? That's the way it looks to me. So anyway, that's a close inspection of it. There's a kind of a full loop of it, though, and generally speaking, it is getting better organized. It was named, Lee, as of the 5 o'clock advisory. The forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center does show intensification, and as a matter of fact, this is the most bullish forecast the National Hurricane Center has ever published, ever, period. From depression to a Category 4 storm. They have never gone so in on intensification. So there's that. Definitely don't love having a powerful storm developing. Now, I see a lot of people asking, I see a lot of people asking, like, do we need to worry? Do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? At this point in time, we just need to be watching it. And I beg you to just do that. Okay? Talk about the shrimp image. Oh, yeah, it kind of does look like a little shrimp, doesn't it? John, what is the possibility that it will turn to the north and northeast? Listen, I mean, we got to watch. Roberto says, you're keen on ruining my vacation, aren't you? No. Mari says, y'all meteorologists are paying way too much attention to this one. I mean, I think that's my job. I saw that some noted Navy models have it more west. I haven't seen a Navy model, but we'll definitely look at the data. Sandy's asking, did it dip south? It kind of looks like it has a little bit, right? It definitely kind of looks that way. Julie says, don't panic, plan. That's it. That's what we do. Jason Lidd, have you heard about the Cat 6 hurricane? Thoughts? I've not heard. Yeah, I've heard of the girl talking about it. There's not going to be a Category 6 hurricane because the Saffir-Simpson scale only goes to Category 5. But at any rate, you can see it is expected to become a Category 1, a Category 2, 3, and eventually a 4. So we do think that it's going to be a major hurricane. Next advisory comes from the National Hurricane Center at 11 o'clock, and I'll be posting that on all of my channels, the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram and all that stuff. All right. Linda's asking for the spaghetti models. Yes, I'll share with you all the model data, all the data. So there's the tropical models. And what we're seeing here is a tight consensus for the near term, right? And then kind of spreading out the guidance once we get further down. So y'all had asked about this, and we did talk a little bit about it during our coffee talk this morning and during the tracking the tropics, but this is the steering flow for it. You've got your Bermuda high due north of it. That's what's causing the storm system to go off to the west right now. All right, and that's going to continue the next couple of days' time. Perfect. Then we start to watch a little cool front, little trough kind of open up a steering current, open up an opportunity to do a little recurvature. Okay, and that's important because that weakness in the high, that weakness in the Bermuda high, that's where we're going to have the recurvature and that turn from just due like west northwest to more north. And it's going to be in that window there that we see that Bermuda high kind of receding, perhaps. And, it's all the timing of that trough and the timing of the storm arriving. I want to be very clear on this, though. Like, nothing at all yet is set in stone. It's going to be the timing, and that's all playing out starting Friday of this week and then continuing into the weekend. So we're not 100% sold on landfall or no landfall. We're just not there yet. What we do know is that this is expected to become a big bad hurricane, and I think that's kind of where we're at. So let's do this. Let's look at some of the raw model data and let's see what's doing on the storm system. We'll look at raw like GFS and Euro, and then of course we can get into the ensemble plots and all that fun stuff. Sound good? Sound good? All right, so this is the raw model data. We'll just kind of plot this through. All right, and there it is, the storm system there. I'll switch over to wind. Oh, for goodness sake. I feel like I'm always fighting the good fight. Wind. Okay. GFS. All right, so there's the storm system there kind of doing its thing, right? The good news is that the models have been consistent in keeping it off of Florida's east coast. That's not promising that continues, but that's a good consistency mark, and we love to see that. That's the current run. If we go back a run, we go back 2 runs. So it definitely looks like the last few runs have slowed down a bit, right? Now, slowing down could end up impacting the timing of the trough, etc. Roberto, you never asked my original question. I didn't see your original question. Did you change your shirt? No, this is what I came to work in. Remember, the image consultant told me that I'm not allowed to wear my suit to work. Wesh needs a gaming computer to keep up with you guys. Listen, the systems we have are powerful. I'm just pushing them. Yeah. That looks like a massive storm, Brandy says. It is. According to the GFS, oh my God, my eyes, 113. So that's, you're talking a powerful hurricane going up the East Coast. So that's the GFS. The GFS is keeping everything off the East Coast. And we're seeing consistency so far, so that's good. I'm not like sold that that's 100%, but that's good. And remember, the European doesn't go out that far on these kind of between runs. I could probably get yeah, it doesn't. These in-between runs don't go out that far. So the European, the farthest out that I can get you is right there. That's 90 hours out. But if we go back from the 18Z to the 12Z, I can go out a little further and kind of just show you that the European model is still blowing it up. That's 144 mile per hour winds and then a recurvature. So the European's definitely much stronger than the GFS, and I think that the European is going to be correct. But it all ends up being in terms of impacts, and of course, you're looking at me in heights, 500 anomaly. Listen, I'm doing all this on my MacBook Pro, so what you're seeing is is me trying to squint to be able to see. Don't judge me, people. Don't judge my eyes. So this is the same graphic that I showed you on the weather computer where you've got the hurricane approaching. There's that trough in the east, giving kind of that weakness, allowing the storm system to recurve. The question is exact timing of that, right? So that's kind of where we're at, is the Bermuda high, that trough over the eastern seaboard, how that all plays out. Betty says, sadly, seems Bermuda might get hit. Listen, I mean, it's too early. It's too early to really dial down on anybody getting hit. It's just too early for that. So don't worry too much about it. Okay? Promise me. Promise me you're not going to worry. Promise me. That's an order, Marine. All right, so let's do this. Let's come over. Let's look at some ensemble plots. Let me get it all set up for you. Oceanic, Caribbean. I know, I'm not making good TV. That's why this is social media, because I'm not making good TV. All right, here is the GFS ensembles. All those little lows, those are all versions of the GFS. Some are definitely bringing it closer. Like that's the current run. If we go back one run, they're a little further out. We go back 2 runs. They're kind of all over the place. So behind the scenes, you know, just about all of, I don't like that. Yeah. So still outliers, but some of them are, you know, bringing it a little close for comfort. So I'm only saying this because we need to watch this, right? And if we look at the European ensembles, don't judge my eyes, people. Go to the 12Z. And the vast majority of them are recurving it well out to sea, but there are a few outliers that bring it close. I would say, you know, in the way that I look at this, if I'm 100% honest, the way that I'm looking at this just at all is that it's going to be too close for comfort. No matter what it does, if it stays out to sea or if it comes ashore or if it comes close to us or not, either way, it's going to be closer than I want it to be. So we need to watch and make sure to babysit things. Beth, you're tired. I see that. I'm tired. I'm definitely tired. That's correct. Hannah is asking about the A-Bear box. Yeah, let's look. I haven't updated that since this morning. Okay, so the A-Bear box, for those that are interested, the A-Bear box is is it William A-Bear, former forecaster at the National Hurricane Center? Essentially, there's a box, latitude and longitude. There's 2 of them, actually. And what he found is that storms that go through said box love hitting Florida if they go through as major hurricanes. Whether or not that will happen here remains to be seen. All right, let me get it set up. What is the storm's name? Lee. Lee. Forecast cone. Okay, all right. I've got the graphic done. Okay. Okay, so here's Lee. And the A-Bear box. Give it a second. It's got to load. I just made the save. Okay. Processing. Okay, so here's Lee and the A-Bear box. So based on the position of where Lee is now, right? The majority of forecast models keep it outside of the A-Bear box. But the idea is if it passes through as a major hurricane, which is what it would do, if it passes through that A-Bear box, many storms that pass through do hit Florida. Let's hope it misses the A-Bear box. Let's hope. And that kind of goes to something that I had mentioned actually earlier. So you can see, I mean, the forecast cone takes it awful close. When I was talking about historic storms, and I thought that this was kind of interesting, what I did here is I looked at the storm system itself and I said, okay, based on its positioning, where have storms been that moved within 50 miles of its location? And what I found is that of the storms that were around, The storms that tracked near the Antilles, closer to the Caribbean islands, are the ones that really wanted to get closer to the United States and make landfall. They've not all recurved. Some of them did get a little close. Some of them did make landfall. So we're not, that's why when I see people saying like, it's going to recurve, it's like, sure, I would love for that. I want that. But I'm not going to guarantee that. I'm not going to stake my reputation. I'm not going to promise you. I've worked hard to earn your trust, and I will always level with you. I will always be 100% transparent to share all the weather data. I'm not positive, and I'd love for it to recurve, but let's just be prepared in case it doesn't. Okay? That's all. David says, Irma actually popped up in my memories. Yeah, mine too. Which means that it was today that I found out that we were going to have our first baby. Because it was moving, well, I don't know if it was today, but it was around here. We moved it, so sidebar personal talk. It was the day that I moved into the station was the day that I realized that that Jeannie was pregnant. So that's kind of fun. I sat next to him in Alfie. I didn't say anything to him. I was just like stunned. He's like, you okay over there, bada bing? And I'm like, yeah, what do you need, Chief? So Nikki says, finally caught you live. How are you, Nikki? How are you? Karen, just being curious, God forbid it happens. If it does go through Florida, what category would it be? I mean, that's can't really get there. I mean, the models are showing a pretty nasty hurricane riding up our East Coast. So let's just hope it doesn't do that. At this point, the model consensus is that it will not do that. Yeah. All right. Why does Europe have hurricane tracking? They don't get hurricanes. Bill, listen, I mean, I've seen tropical systems get to Spain and Portugal, but I don't know what you mean Europe. Oh, you mean the computer model? It's a global computer model. That's why. Yeah. So they run a global computer model, and hurricanes are a part of it. Yeah. Oh, Coley says my first baby made during Irma. Oh, get it, girl. Floyd, Matthew, Dorian, recurve. Listen, every storm is different. Every storm is different. Yeah. Are you able to tell how many miles wide it would be? It just looks massive. I mean, it's going to be a thing. It's going to be a big bad hurricane. You know, the intensity models, I don't know if I showed these to you yet tonight. I'm so not awake. Listen, I was already asleep. I was already asleep at this point yesterday, so I'm just fighting the good fight. This Starbucks is just my lifeline at this point. But I mean, the intensity models are quite bullish. You know, they're bringing it to major hurricane status pretty quickly. Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday should have a major hurricane. So, yeah. I think it's going to be a storm system that we're going to want to track. Yeah. Matthew wrecked the trees in my neighborhood worse than any storm since. I mean, look, let's hope none of this happens and makes impacts on us. That's all. I don't want to do it again. I just did a hurricane. I don't want to do another one. What's the probability of it going into the Gulf of Mexico? Nothing is indicating it going into the Gulf of Mexico. Julian's asking if it lines up with our long-range forecast. We did indicate something around the East Coast of Florida around next week. So it's going to line up. Whether or not it hits us, to me, it fits that kind of time frame. Gina says Wesh needs a full-time barista and espresso machine. I would love that. I printed out a tracking map from the Hurricane Center site and I'm tracking it myself on paper. Old school, love it, Yukon. Sonia, if it hits Florida, when should we expect it to arrive? So the models indicate, and I'll share with you, and we'll just look at it on the GFS just for, perspective, right? So the 00Z GFS has come in. Or actually should be coming in. So here's the 18Z. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, for goodness sake. Give me a second. Properties, 18Z yesterday. Thank you. All right. So here's the 18Z. What are you doing? No. 18Z yesterday. Thank you. That was my bad. All right. So that's Monday at 8 a.m. That's Tuesday at 9 a.m. I mean, that alone, that's like a scary look. Oh, you can't see it, can you? This is how tired I am, y'all. Good gravy. All right, so there's Sunday night, there's Monday afternoon, there's Tuesday morning. I mean, that's a scary look. Let's keep this thing off the shoreline. Let's keep this a fish storm if we can, right? Yeah, that's all. Nature is mad because Publix discontinued the hurricane cake. Gewalt. I mean, if that's a thing, maybe it is. I don't know. Kim's asking, what's the Z? Yeah, that's a good question. So when we show raw models, a lot of times we show that the 18Z, so that stands for Zulu time. So Zulu time, Greenwich Mean Time, and essentially it's UTC time. It's basically, pilots use it. It's 4 hours off from the Eastern time. That's kind of the what you need to know on it. Yeah, so there's that. Let's see what else. Looks like a gobstopper. What it looks like is nothing that I want to mess with. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that for free. You're doing news in a few minutes plus putting on a suit and tie. You're going to make it. Oh, yeah. I'll listen. I'll leave y'all in a couple minutes. I'm just drinking my coffee, trying to stay awake, y'all. Yep. Nancy says, have a good night, everybody. You too. 18Z Euro ensembles come in. Yeah, but the 18Z Euros are not, they don't go very far out is the problem. That's the problem. Here, I'll show you. In a few seconds. Do that. Like, this is the Euro. This is as far out. Here, I'll pop it up for you. This is as far out as the Euro goes. That's as far out as the 18Z Euro goes. So, doesn't go out very far. Yeah, doesn't go out very far at all. Sorry about that. Why do different models run at earlier, later times? GFS earlier than Euro for their different runs. Does one take longer? Yeah, the way that our FutureCast model runs first, then the GFS, then the Euro. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just different models are doing their thing. Tina says, love coffee talk with you. Thank you. I love hanging with you. It's the highlight of my day when I do it. Yukon, when's the next run? Yeah, the 00Z, which should be running here in the next couple of minutes. Yeah. Leonardo, you've lost a lot of weight, sir. Proud of you. Must feel great. Thank you. If it does feel great, I feel fantastic. I feel absolutely fantastic. Sure do. I really do. Any chance the Hurricane Hunters could start up the next couple of days? Yes. So I just looked it up. So for September 5th, so September 6th, so nothing tomorrow, but the next day is going to be Lee fixes. So that's going to be 6-hour fixes on Tropical Storm Lee at 23:30 on the 7th. So you're talking like 2 days from now. Yeah. And yeah, like 2 days from now. Begin 6-hourly fixes on Tropical Storm Lee on the 7th at 23:30 Z, and then NOAA 43 tail Doppler radar mission into Lee at 12 Z on the 8th, and then added WC 130J synoptic surveillance at 0 Z on the 8th. So not today, but next couple of days, we're absolutely going to start putting together some recon flights. So yeah, get ready for that. Dylan, which model was accurate? I think our Wesh in-house model was really great with Idalia and with Irma and with what's up, Maria? How you doing? With all the storms, it seemed like it did a pretty stand-up job. Weather champs think this will be the strongest storm of the season. We'll see. This is the most bullish hurricane forecast the Hurricane Center has ever done. So there's that. Yeah. Chris is asking if I'm ready for 12-hour shifts. Chris, I'm barely able to do the 10 and the 11 tonight. We're leaving from Port Canaveral Sunday for a cruise. Should we be concerned? Tammy, I would tell you, I don't know what cruise line you're on, right? But I would tell you that in terms of cruising, all the cruise lines do a great job of watching things. So I would just say to you, they're not going to put you in harm's way. Okay? Particularly Royal Caribbean. Craig Setzer, buddy of mine, is their chief meteorologist. So they do great work. Yeah. Jojo, hey, how are ya? Thank you. Linda, my pleasure. Any other questions, my friends, before I go change clothes again and do the old TV thing? June, my pleasure. Matt, hoping next week when West starts 7 p.m., it's just 7 p.m. broadcast and not continuous hurricane coverage. You and me both. I just want you all to know, we don't love that. That's pretty crummy to do. We do it because it's very important. We don't love it. It's not fun, Thomas is asking, think it's a Florida hit? Right now, it doesn't look that way. Sure hope that stays. That's all. Oh, yeah, Laura, I got the pocket square. Let's see. So we should be looking at next Tuesday if it hits us. Yeah, mid next week is the time frame that we have to watch. Jesse, does bullish mean strong? Yeah. In other words, they're very hard on that intensification. Yeah. All right. John, fun fact, Claire Metz has been with Wesh longer than I've been alive. Fun fact, Claire Metz has been with Wesh as long as I've been alive. She started at Wesh the year I was born. Oh, man, Daytona Ponce would be in trouble. I hope that we don't end up with something like that. That's all. Juan says, I work at WMFE, so if you're working, I will too. Let's not. Daniel says, been watching Wesh since 1980. I've been watching Wesh almost as long. Yeah. All right, people, that's what we've got. Thank you all very much. I will be seeing you tonight at 10 and 11, and certainly on Coffee Talk tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. All right, Nicole says, thank you for sharing your expertise. We always look forward to your reports and information. Thank you. Linda says, hope Tony's enjoying his time off. Tony deserves all the time off. Man, canceled another vacation last week because of hurricane coverage. So, yeah. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you all so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see you all later this evening on TV and tomorrow morning on the social channels. Bye, y'all.